As a lot of you guys know, Clash Royale has made some pretty positive changes recently to try to make heroes more accessible to players by giving out a free hero and increasing the amount of hero fragments you actually receive in the past every season, alongside some other good changes like not receiving duplicate cards nearly as often or not at all for some players for max cards. But guys, a good chunk of the community, including the best player in the game, Mohamed Light, has stated here, heroes shouldn't be a thing in the game. Now, a lot of people might be asking the question, why hasn't Clash Royale just simply removed heroes altogether? Wouldn't that be the obvious solution to get their revenue back up and improve the community sentiment? In today's video, I want to talk about why that might not be as easy as it sounds, and I'm going to give an objective standpoint with a good list of reasons that I have come up with, and I'll also kind of share how the decision process works inside of the game, and a lot of you guys might not be aware of how that works. So first things first, Ken says, you know what to do, Molite, and it's just a clip where this guy's loading up a gun here. If you know, you know. People are saying to him, say bye-bye to your creator code. People are saying he's kind of testing the waters with that. Not gonna lie, Ken has a lot of aura. He could probably kill someone in broad daylight and he wouldn't lose his code. Oh wait, I gotta be careful. I might lose my code for saying that. So the first thing I wanted to say, guys, is there's been a lot of creators recently that have said it would be illegal for Clash Royale to remove heroes from the game, and that's why they haven't done it. They'd have to compensate players, it would be too complicated. Well, actually, no, because I asked AI, I'm not saying it knows literally everything 100% of the time, but based off of what it said in my own kind of research and from what I know, it actually would not be illegal. So the creators who have said that are wrong, and you see here, it's because you don't actually own anything in the game, because when you get something from a live service, you're not buying property, you're buying a license to use digital content, and I'm sure this is listed somewhere in the terms of service. So basically, you bought access, not the item itself, and it's the same legal structure used in other games like Fortnite, Valorant, Steam games. So they can change or delete content anytime. The contract you agreed to when playing lets them modify, rebalance, remove, discontinue features or parts of the game. And it states they may manage, regulate, control, modify, or eliminate virtual items at any time with or without notice. They can even shut down the entire game and owe no compensation. So removing heroes legally allowed update. That's why whenever controversial bans happen as well, where someone feels like they're wrongfully banned, they could never sue Clash Royale for that happening, even if they spent thousands in the game. So this actually makes complete sense, and you can read through all of this yourself. I just wanted to give you guys a summary of basically why it would actually be legal. So the creators that said this are actually completely incorrect. That is why, guys, in my opinion, even though they have the option of removing heroes, they still have a difficult time doing it, which is why they made these specific changes to try to make them more accessible, and they don't want to backtrack on them completely. And I'm going to list a few reasons for why that is, even though there's so many people that want them to be removed, and people think it might be an easy solution for them to just do that and it would resolve everything. But here's the problem with that, guys. You would think it's an easy solution, right? And it would be brain dead, and just like a brain dead decision, anyone could see it, that it would be obvious because the revenue keeps tanking due to level 16 and heroes being added to the game, right? It's going down. So you would think it would only make sense because that's going down, as well as the interest of the game, that it's an easy solution for them to just move heroes, right? Maybe, okay, removing them, maybe, okay, yeah, we can, a lot of us can agree that's too far, but not adding additional ones. Well, the reason why that's very complicated, and actually why you can see they're starting evolutions again in April. That's when evolutions are coming back. As they stated, it's not March. You would think they would do that immediately. The reason they can't is because everything is planned out in advance. And I'm going to give an example of this. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but the evolutions are a big example of this. Me and a lot of the other creators are well aware. Basically, guys, the way it works is whenever a new evolution came out into the game, it wasn't ever a spur-of-the-moment, last-minute decision. They're often planned 6 months in advance. So the Evolve Royal Hogs, guys, that came out in November, it's very likely they were thinking of the idea for this evolution even as early as May, June, or July. Months in advance, they were thinking of this evolution. When the first evolutions came out in the game, guys, for example, like the Firecracker, the Evolved Royal Giant, the Barbarians, I believe those are some of the first few ones that came out, they were already planning the next few evolutions after that and they're already planning the advertising, the marketing, which likely millions of dollars goes into. Where I'm going with this, guys, is you can see here, for the first heroes that came out into the game, just like how when they came out with a few evolutions, the Giant, the Mini P.E.K.K.A., the Musketeer, and the Knight, unfortunately, when they came up with this hero idea, we all know now it's a bad idea. And honestly, guys, I think even Supercell can admit it. And if they could go back in time, I think even they would go back in time and not release the heroes in the first place. But where I'm going with this, guys, is because they unfortunately came up with this idea of these hero cards, and probably they put like millions into the budget. They've made a timeline in advance before all of these heroes were out that they were going to keep coming out with heroes every month, which is what we've seen recently, and they probably likely were planning on doing that for several months and didn't even have any intention of evolutions coming back or anything of that nature until all the backlash came. But that's why, guys, it was too late, because you can see now with them adding more heroes like the Hero Magic Archer and the Hero Barbarian Barrel, the issue is they were already planning this out months in advance. What I'm trying to say is when these heroes all came out, it's very likely before these were even out, the Magic Archer was already planned, and almost completely the way that it works, the concept of it, that idea was already formed months in advance. And I think that's something that a lot of people that play this game don't even realize. And actually, admittedly, some of the content creators probably even forget that they don't just on the spot come up with these ideas. And you actually could make the argument that makes this all worse because they have months to plan and they still come out broken. But I'm basically just stating the objective facts. Now, a potential option they could do for the heroes, guys, is they could change it into basically something else like they did with the heal spell. Even though it's legal, guys, for them to remove the heroes, is it really realistic to think they would do that when they've not really done that for any other card in the game, even the dead cards like the Barbarian Hut, for example, and the Mirror? If they don't remove those, or really they don't like to drastically change cards, the first example of that, guys, was the Heal Spirit, right? That was really the first time they changed a whole card basically into a spirit. And the point I'm making with this is if it was basically that big of an innovation and the first time they've ever done that with one card, is it really realistic to think they're going to be able to do that with all the heroes? That's why I think the only option is for them to slow down the amount of heroes they release, which is apparently what they're doing since they are going back to adding evolutions. I think they gradually are realizing their mistake finally and going back to them. But this is why, guys, I just wanted to ultimately talk about in this video why they aren't going to remove the heroes, on top of the fact that even though I would say at least 80% of the players don't like the heroes, they're in a little bit of a pickle too if they just straight up remove the heroes, because one, if they just remove them and don't, first of all, pay people back or everyone back, they might have a hard time doing that, so there'd be a lot of controversy, obviously, and they would get a lot of hate, of course, if they don't successfully pay everyone back. And even if they do, then they're losing a lot of money. So then not only did their revenue drop in the first place, they're then losing money paying people back. And then on top of that, the percentage of players that actually enjoyed heroes and got used to them, they're going to be mad and quit the game. So that's why removing heroes, guys, is not a realistic option. And this is why, guys, I got so much hate under this post here that I said I was done boycotting because I was overall happy with the changes they made in the game. I got a lot of hate under this because there were so many people, and there's so many people on Twitter saying like, oh, they need to remove heroes. But the point I'm making in this video is it's not realistic for a multitude of reasons at this point. And the only viable option is for them to reduce the amount of heroes they have added. And unfortunately, it's just a mistake that's difficult for them to recover from, if that makes sense. So you can read what I posted here, and I did respond to some of the criticism because some people did make valid points. It's probably Supercell's intentions the whole time, so they all of a sudden look good. Same rinse and repeat cycle. None of the content creators are acknowledging this, so who knows what was all said and done behind closed doors. So I do think the changes they made to heroes they were forced to make because of the boycotts, community sentiment, and everyone quitting the game. that's why there was a quick turnaround on these changes, and I think it genuinely surprised me and a lot of creators, since for a while we have felt like they never listened to us or the community. I think a lot of creators are grateful and didn't expect it, so maybe that's why we aren't acknowledging that it is indeed debatably the bare minimum. But even getting that in Clash Royale is a win, because recently, especially the last year, we have not felt that way at all. And at the end of the day, because I do consider the changes to be positive, that's why next month in March, I am going to be returning to streaming, and I'm soon going to be putting out gameplay videos. And by the way, I'm still sticking to what I said, because originally my first community post, I said I just wasn't going to stream until at least March, and I said I wasn't going to do gameplay until they make changes. But they made positive changes. But I think sometimes people are just hating just to hate, and yes, we can say they're not enough, but I think 99% of people that are thinking normally can agree that these are at least beneficial changes, and understand why it isn't really an easy solution for them to remove heroes when they've already lost so much money, and they would lose more money in the process, being forced to refund everyone, which would mean their revenue goes down even more. And for the percentage of people that do love heroes, they would, of course, inevitably probably quit the game. And it also probably hurts their own ego too, because they'd basically be admitting that it was a failure, and we know that they probably don't like doing that, admitting that a feature in the game was a complete flop, especially in a short amount of time. So it's for all those reasons why they're not going to remove heroes, and it is not illegal. So the people that have said it's illegal, I guess those people were wrong. If you guys found this video interesting, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. You can use creator code BOSS to support me in any Supercell game. And thanks again until next time, guys.